we have another weekend what to watch where we're gonna go and tell you guys about some movies, TVs. I don't think we have a video game on the list this week, but we'll tell you about some cool stuff that's that you should be watching or playing this weekend. And if I'm not mistaken, I have the first one that we're gonna be talking about this week, which is Jim Henson's Idea Man. I am super pumped up for this one because it's a documentary about none other than Jim Henson. For those that don't know and aren't looking at the picture, he's the guy that made the Muppets, the Sesame Street, Labyrinth, Fraggle Rock, all of these awesome things that, I'm sure that hopefully you grew up loving. Otherwise, I don't think that you have much of a heart, but I'm just gonna put that out there. Love the Muppets or I question your integrity as a person. So, yeah, a documentary about Jim Henson, guys. What do you guys think about that one? I do believe it comes out tomorrow, so also the day that we post this up on YouTube, that it will be out at that point.
So I had brief introductions with the Muppets growing up, so it wasn't really a big part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen the movies and stuff like that, so it definitely seems interesting to watch, but it's definitely not something I'm like extremely looking forward to.
Okay.
I might end up watching it. I could learn something.
Yeah. Well, I do kind of put Jim Henson up there with some of those wholesome icon kind of people, your Mr. Rogers, like your Reading Rainbow kind of stuff. Like, I feel like Jim Henson fits very well in that kind of category, but I'm also a huge Muppets guy. So I'm a little bit biased on this one. Obviously, I'm the one that chose this one. So, yeah, I mean, I can't help it. I'm a big Muppets fan, especially Muppet Treasure Island. You put Tim Curry with a bunch of Muppets, it's just going to be a good time. But yeah, so you really don't have a connection with the Muppets like that, though, Shorty.
No, not really. So when I was growing up, we didn't really have access to TV. So I didn't grow up watching a lot of TV and movies. So It wasn't really a big part of my childhood.
Shorty's hoodie is actually made out of 100% pure Muppet.
That is factual. Like Miss Piggy's, in fact.
It's also for a good cause. It says you are enough. So.
Oh no, Miss Piggy!
I do love some bacon.
I've had a lot of people tell me that I'm enough. I've had enough.
Oh man. All right. So I mean that's what I had to suggest. But of course, as for every week, we have Shorty that's going to try and convince me that I'm supposed to watch this anime. Shorty.
Oh, I had a weekend what to watch. You forgot about this.
Well, you're going to be after him, though.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Have you ever set up the slides?
I did already have the slides set up. So, yeah, go ahead and tell us, Shorty. Try and sell us on this one and how this isn't like just every other anime that is coming out right now. I'm sure that you'll do great.
Okay, so by popular demand, and by popular I mean by Rune, he asked me to do an isekai.
I did not.
And I'm here. Yes, you did. And I'm here to deliver.
Bullshit.
Because he said he had great questions and remarks on isekai anime. And so I am here to help with that.
Uh-oh.
So my recommendation for this weekend is one that is still coming on Crunchyroll. So it is only dubbed, or only subbed and dubbed in Deutsch. So if you speak German, then you're fine.
Yeah, so if you speak as a Deutsch, you'll just be great. Yeah, that's so much of our audience.
That's why I said it's in subbed in as well. But it is an isekai, but he's reborn. He's not given an overpowered superpower. He's not super strong, super smart. He sucks at magic.
Well, then isn't it Usagi then?
Does he get a harem?
No.
No?
He does have one wife.
One wife?
Or he has one fiance. And that's it.
Was she a Slav at first?
No. They're children,
surprising.
Actually. So this is
because there was like a big trend for a while there with isekai where it's like, I'm gonna go and get me a maid girl. It's like
Yeah, no. She's from another noble household. She's an aristocrat.
Okay.
Because this is
I love that Disney movie.
Aristocrat. I'll use my appraisal skill to rise. And it's about just
that's a long ass title.
It is based off of a light novel, which was the second recommendation that was asked of me last week. So I had it delivered.
Oh, okay.
and he has an appraisal skill. He can see what people are good at, and so he's using that to find like civilians or peasants with that time frame,
Okay.
and finding out what best job goes along with their skill set.
So he's just
Diplomat.
like a medieval fantasy talent agency
Yes, with precision.
with
But
precision.
he's also the,
So he's good at
he's
his
the young
job.
lord. Yeah, very. He's the young lord, and his father is a war leader. He was a peasant who did really good in battle. He was given noble title. He was given knighthood, and then his dad passes away, and so now he has to take over this king or his. Can't remember the term for it. Hearth or his region.
I like
And-
peasant feathers.
So here's a good
And-
question for you on this one. This is the way that you need to like approach some of these. All right, Jared, not the anime guy. What would be
Yeah.
some things that you could suggest to Jared that aren't anime that this might relate to? Like, is there like a show or something that this is kind of like, oh, if you enjoyed this type of like television show, then you might like this anime. You know,
Come on, baby, sell me on it.
It's really hard for this type because it's even in
Yeah.
the anime world, it's unique.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not a whole lot of fighting. It's not a lot of action. It's another slice of life, just like the last one I did. It's just slice of life in a fantasy world.
Don't
So
assume that I just want to watch something about fighting. Tell
You're
me why it's good. Don't
You're-
say, oh, it could be good if it had fighting. That's what I'm hearing.
So it's good because it's easy to follow along.
all right, so, Jared, your
It's
mic
not
started to
super
get weird and
complicated.
echoey. By the way, just wanted to let you know.
Oh, okay. It's
you
because
go.
I went in front of it.
Oh, yeah, you're good now. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's easy to follow along. There's not a whole bunch of complicated bullcrap that's going on. If it's just a nice, relax at home, or country roll and chill type of series.
Okay.
So
I'm not sure that this is one that I'm gonna latch on to be completely honest with you. It's hard to sell me on
you
an
don't
isekai.
like isekais.
I'm so
so-
tired of isekai. So it's a tough sell for me. I will say for anyone else that wants to go and see something anime, in theaters this weekend, Haikyuu's movie, The Dumpster Battle, is going to be in theaters. So another
We're calling
anime
them
opportunity.
Usakis.
Yeah, that one's not an usaki. That one is a volleyball.
It's a volleyball sports anime.
They all
Yeah.
Usaki to me.
Oh, all right. Well, then
With
why
a
don't
really
you
short
go
red
ahead,
haircut.
Jared? Enlighten us then with what amazing thing you're bringing to the table, because you didn't bother to tell me what it was beforehand, so I don't even have a graphic.
No, that's fine because I can explain it with words well enough that people are going to run to the theaters to see this one.
Is it an
The movie is
usaki?
Casino. No, the movie's Casino. Stars Robert De Niro, right? And he's been hired by the gang, the mob boss out east to run a casino.
And how
But
old is he in this movie?
His partner, dude, played by Joe Pesci, keeps coming in and fucking up his business. So he's trying to run him off without running him off. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
Jared,
go hang around the
I have
casino.
a feeling here that you didn't understand the assignment. We're trying to introduce people to new things, you see, not things that are like older than some of our audience.
Well, Ruin, it could be new to someone who hasn't seen it. Did you ever think of that?
I mean, I don't know. Why don't we? Anybody that is watching right now, please type down there if you have not seen this movie and you appreciate Jared's recommendation right now.
I guarantee you, they go watch Shorty's brilliant Usaki, and then they watch Casino. They're going to be coming to me with praise. That's what's going to happen.
Hey, with our demographic, they're probably going to like
your
mine more.
condescending attitude, Rune, and stick it up your ass.
All right, so Casino, I mean, it is a classic. I'm sure that a lot of our people have seen it. If you haven't, go and check it out. I mean, it is a good movie nonetheless. But I did want to make sure, because
I wouldn't recommend a bad one. I tell you that much.
Well, I don't know. We'll see next week. So I did want to make one more good recommendation for the weekend what to watch, and this is a preparation. This is also an older one, but it is House of the Dragon. Guys, it's about time. We're about to shift in to season 2 of House of the Dragon. This is the Game of Thrones sequel, so you have a week to catch up on one single season. It's not that long. You can easily get through it in a week if you were not there, because next week, after the season 2 premiere, will probably take like 30 minutes and everything after it goes, and then we are going to be going live to actually go and give our reactions. It's probably not the same people you're seeing here. I know I'll be a part of it. I don't know about these other guys, but we will be having a discussion on House of the Dragon. So, Game of Thrones fans, who do we got down here? Jared, I know that you said that you were a Game of Thrones fan. Why haven't you tried this one yet, if you have not?
Probably just, it's been so long since the end of Game of Thrones, and it didn't really give us the season we wanted for the final season. So the enthusiasm level just may not have been there for me to want to go watch that.
A little Song of Ice and Fire fatigue.
Yeah, I guess so.
I can understand that because that last season really was hard, but I was obsessed with House of the Dragon. It is so good, and it's so much more compact than the Game of Thrones seasons were, because you're really just dealing with these two families warring more than anything else. Yes, you had the individual members that you'll kind of float between, but it's a much more centralized story that's not that difficult to keep up with. You're not worrying about who the three-eyed raven is or anything like that, or where he was for the last 10 seasons, but it's a lot more compact than that. So Shorty, why are you not into Game of Thrones? Come on, talk, tell us why.
So I don't usually watch things that everybody is watching, to be fair.
You're
just yeah.
So another big thing is it was really popular when I was deployed, and I didn't have access to it until
was getting laid.
Well,
I was buying the DVD sets of it for deployment, actually.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that option.
Yeah.
Getting laid, the box set.
Oh yeah.
My first underway was a 9-month deployment. So
good Lord, you got right on deployment right from the get-go?
2 weeks.
Oh, Navy hates you, bud.
2 weeks.
Oh, you just got thrown right into the fire.
2 weeks later, right onto deployment.
Wow.
5 months turned to
so
7.
Is it just sort of like an intimidation factor at this point where Game of Thrones is like 50? How many hours would it take to watch that entire first?
Quite a few.
I think it's the same argument of why people don't want to pick up One Piece.
Okay, it's just intimidating.
Too big. I would rather read it.
Well, I can tell you, in the case of One Piece, I watched the One Piece series, the live action,
right,
and that was great for me. But I tried to go and start watching the regular, and I just can't get into it because it takes a certain special anime to get me want to watch it.
That's
like you can almost count on one hand the animes that I was like,
we'll have to do an episode of that.
Yeah, talking about that Jared approved anime.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little segment.
But I will say though that this is the perfect series for you then, because it's only one season so far. And it's so much more centralized that if you wanted, like I was telling, the reason that we're bringing this up is because if you wanted, you've got a week, you could easily take this one down.
See, it is tempting for a branch series, but the Game of Thrones series itself, I think I'm just going to read it.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm going to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, at this point you might as well, even if you just listen to the audiobooks, which is how I consumed the Song of Ice and Fire series. It's not finished yet, so I mean you're not getting a good ending either way. So
yeah, but now if I go through a book, I don't have to deal with shitty casts.
The casting was very good for Game of Thrones. Like it's pretty top.
Game of Thrones is pretty dead on with cast. I mean, I don't know. I never read the book, but what I can tell you is the casting is so good. Like there's not a character in Game of Thrones where I'm like, that person's not a very good actor.
But it is a splitting universe. So what you're going to get from the show pretty much about halfway through season 2 is when you really get a big fork from the books. So similar to how I was with the Magicians, I highly suggest reading the books and watching the show because you're going to get two variable outcomes that's kind of fun. You can kind of almost like, well, I liked this one about this one and I like this about this one, instead of, I know a lot of people want to have their definitive which way did it go, but for me personally, I just enjoy more of the content. Like Dragon Ball Z splits from GT and Super, that's fine. I enjoy both.
I don't know. I'll think about it.
Yeah, well, that is...
No, you make a decision now.
Right now, let them know. Will you be on there next week when we start talking about it?
What day are we doing it?
It's going to be Sundays.
On Sunday?
Yeah.
I will actually have to get back to you on that one.
Okay, well, just let me know. I'm still looking for people for that one. But yeah, that is what we have for the week in What to Watch. Let me know if you end up actually going and checking any of the things that we talked about next week in the comments. Let us know what you thought about Casino. It's a pretty good movie.
It's a pretty damn good movie.